Hey Sarah, I understand why new technology can feel overwhelming, but avoiding it will only make things harder in the long run. First of all, you should start small instead of trying to learn everything at once. For example, pick one useful tool related to your job, such as a basic productivity app or communication platform, and spend a little time using it every day. Short, consistent practice is much more effective than long study sessions. You should also take advantage of free resources like short tutorial videos or beginner-friendly online courses. These are designed for people with no technical background, so they are less intimidating. At the same time, you should not compare yourself to others who seem more tech-savvy, because everyone learns at a different pace. Another helpful step is asking colleagues for guidance when needed. Most people are happy to help, and learning from others can make the process faster and less stressful. However, you should not completely rely on others to do things for you, because that prevents real learning. Overall, staying curious, patient, and open-minded will help you stay updated and confident with new technology. I once had to apologize to a coworker because of a misunderstanding at work. We were working on a group project with a tight deadline, and I assumed that he had already finished his part. When I later noticed that his section was still incomplete, I became frustrated and spoke to him sharply during a team meeting. However, I soon realized that the problem was not his performance, but my poor communication. I had never clearly explained the deadline or my expectations. After the meeting, I spoke to him privately, took responsibility for the misunderstanding, and apologized for my tone. He appreciated my honesty and accepted the apology. After that, our teamwork improved, and we made sure to communicate more clearly. This experience taught me not to jump to conclusions and to address issues calmly. In this picture, I can see a very busy airport security checkpoint during peak hours. In the foreground, there is a businessman wearing a suit who looks stressed as he checks his watch while holding a briefcase, which suggests he may be worried about missing his flight. Next to him, a family with 2 young children is standing in line. The children are carrying small backpacks and appear curious and slightly distracted, while the adults seem focused on moving forward. Behind the counter, a security officer is standing near the screening area and appears to be guiding passengers through the process. In the background, more travelers are waiting patiently, some looking at their phones and others watching the line move slowly. Overall, the scene feels crowded, organized, and slightly tense, which is typical at airport security checkpoints. Based on this picture, I think the most likely thing to happen next is that the line will continue to move slowly as passengers finish the security screening process. The woman in the foreground will probably place the rest of her belongings into the tray and step forward toward the metal detector. The businessman checking his watch may start moving ahead once the family in front of him advances, although he still looks stressed and concerned about time. The 2 children will likely follow their parents closely as they approach the screening area, possibly looking around with curiosity. Meanwhile, the security officer will continue directing passengers. As trays move along the conveyor belt, more people from the back of the line will step forward, and the overall scene will remain busy, organized, and slightly tense, which is typical at airport security checkpoints. Hi, Ben. I understand why you prefer a late night routine because it feels quiet and flexible, and it can be great for creativity. However, I genuinely believe that an early morning routine is a better option in the long run. When you start your day early, your mind is usually fresher, which leads to higher productivity and better focus. Instead of feeling rushed, you can plan your tasks calmly and get important work done before distractions begin. An early routine also supports a healthier lifestyle, since it encourages regular sleep, better eating habits, and even time for exercise. Over time, this reduces stress levels and helps you feel more balanced throughout the day. I think if you tried waking up earlier for just a week, you'd notice that you feel more energized, organized, and in control compared to staying up late every night. Hello, Mr. Brown. I wanted to talk to you about something that has been affecting me recently. I've noticed that loud music is regularly coming from your apartment late at night, especially after 11 p.m., and it's been disturbing my sleep. Because of this, I've been feeling exhausted during the day, and I'm finding it difficult to concentrate at work. I've even noticed that my productivity has dropped, and I'm starting to worry about the long-term impact on my health. I completely understand that you want to relax and enjoy music in your own home, and I don't want to cause any inconvenience. However, I was hoping you could lower the volume late at night, or possibly use headphones. I'd really appreciate your understanding, as getting proper rest is very important for me to function well during the day. I don't think people should completely avoid using credit cards to prevent debt, but I do believe they need to use them very responsibly. Credit cards themselves are not the problem. The real issue is overspending without a clear repayment plan. When used wisely, credit cards can actually be helpful tools. For example, they allow people to manage emergencies, earn rewards, and build a good credit history, which is important for renting an apartment or getting a loan in the future. If someone pays the full balance on time every month, they can enjoy these benefits without paying interest or falling into debt. However, I also understand why some people prefer to avoid credit cards. High interest rates and easy access to credit can lead to impulsive spending, especially for those who struggle with budgeting. In such cases, using cash or debit cards may help control expenses better. Overall, instead of avoiding credit cards completely, people should focus on financial education, setting spending limits, and paying balances on time. Used carefully, credit cards can be a useful financial tool rather than a source of debt. Hey, Dave, I just saw something really unusual, and I had to tell you about it. I'm traveling through the city right now, and the city bus I'm looking at is completely different from a regular one. Instead of a plain design, the entire bus is covered in colorful superhero graffiti, with comic style characters flying, running, and using superpowers. What's even more surprising is the people inside the bus. The passengers and even the driver are dressed like superheroes, wearing bright costumes and capes. They look extremely energetic, cheering and raising their fists as if they're celebrating something together. Overall, the bus feels fun, lively, and almost like part of a parade rather than public transportation. It's definitely not something you see every day,